Alrighty, so kind of did the opening and kind of diagnosed what you all want to work on. So Tanner, Tyler, Kim, and Art, we all figured out, you want to work on centerness of contact, controlling the spin around the green. So right here, we're on the green right here, at the practice facility. And so I'm gonna kind of dive in and describe to you certain fundamentals and skills we can work on to help you achieve those goals of centerness of contact, control around the green, things like that. It all comes down to the fundamentals of grip and, stance, even with chipping. So what we're going to do is, Tanner, I'm going to use you as an example. So if you don't mind stepping over here right now. So right now, I'm going to use you as an example to the rest of the students. Just the couple fundamentals. I don't want to give you guys too much to work on. I just want to give you 3 certain tips to work on to take away from today. So we're going to work on stance, ball alignment, and grip. So these are the things that we're going to work on to help you guys achieve the goals of centerness of contact and spin and control around the green. So Tanner, if you don't mind, line up to the ball right here, and let me take a look at your stance. Okay, yeah, no, that's a great stance so far. So I'm going to make a couple tweaks, and so I want you to just watch me right here real quick. I'll just demonstrate kind of how it'll look, and you guys can watch me as well. So with chipping, you want to make sure that the ball is more in the front of your stance because you want it to pop up in the air. And so if you see right here, the wedge, all of you have different types of loft wedges, and they all act, as a good source. And so there's a certain bounce on the wedge as well, and that also depends on if you're more of a digger, if you're more, if you brush the grass, that type of thing as well. And we'll dive into that, a little bit later. But currently right now, with the wedge, you can see that has a little bit of loft to it. We want to try and pop it up in the air, which is why we want it more in the front of our stance. And then another fundamental thing with, lining up to the ball is we want to make sure the weight is forward at all times, especially chipping around the green, because that'll help emphasize popping it up. So if I have a ball right here, if I have a ball right there, and so you can see I have a more closed stance, so I have more control with it. I don't want it kind of wider right here. So Tanner, one thing I noticed with you is it was a little more wider, but you want to make sure it's kind of a little narrower like this. And then you want to make sure it's about 70-30. So you want most of your pressure on your front foot about 70%, and then the back foot about 30%. And then grip, you kind of want, choke down a little bit. Normal grip as you would, but you want to choke it down just a little bit. And then you just lean forward right here, choke down, ball alignment's more in the front, and then, as soon as you're ready, you would just execute it like that. So Tanner, I'm going to use you as an example right here. And you're a lefty, so we can see perfectly clearly and everything like that. So what I want you to do right now is, take in what we worked on right now, and let's see how it goes. Perfect. Yeah. No, that's a great shot. And so for this next shot, I kind of want you to, you played the Midland Country Club before, right? Mm-hmm. And so, hole number 4, there's a creek, just that runs alongside right here. So we're going to kind of involve a game into this right now. And so what we're going to do is we are going to pretend that the fringe right here is the creek. And what I want you to do is I want you to take this tee, and I want you to line it up to where you think that, you want to aim the ball right here. Okay, yeah, no, great. So what I want you to do, so you'll envision this fringe right here is the creek, and, pretending like you're in an actual match in a game, and you'll, I want you to try and execute it to where you'll land it at that tee, and hopefully it'll roll close to the hole.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Didn't, you were close to the tee, executed it perfectly, took the fundamentals away, and, how do you think that swing felt?
The second one, not so good, but the first one was definitely a lot better.
Yeah, do you feel the tips that I gave you of, narrowing the stance, gripping down a little bit. Do you feel that helped?
Definitely.
Okay, yeah,
definitely.
no, perfect. And then, talking back to the group, any specific takeaways or thoughts that, you took away from the example right here?
I know I put my legs way too far apart.
Yeah.
So
Art?
Just shifting the weight to the front foot's very important.
Yeah, most definitely. And Tyler?
The 70-30 weight distribution, I think, was something I wasn't doing before, so I'll have to give that a try.
Yeah, and I feel, especially around tighter lies around the green, having that weight distribution, because I know you mentioned that you want to work on, centerness of contact as well as just spin around the greens. That'll definitely help emphasize, what you want to work on. And so, yeah, that's kind of what we have for today for our day one of our short game lesson of going over chipping. But I know next week I'll be going over with you guys on our day 2 segment, full swing, and we'll meet at the driving range. But before we go, is there any questions or anything that you'd like to ask?
This has been very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Sounds good. Yeah, well, I'm glad I was able to help, and I'm looking forward to our next lesson.